Namaskar, good evening. Happy Independence Day. My name is Sai Krishna, and on behalf of each One Educate One team, I extend a warm welcome to all our viewers joining us from India, US, Australia, Singapore, Fiji, and many other countries. We are extremely privileged and honored to present the Sarod legend and Padma Vibhushan, Ustad Amjad Ali Khan Sahab, in this evening's program. The name Ustad Amjad Ali Khan is synonymous with Sarod, or rather, when we hear the word Sarod, only thing comes up to your mind is Ustad Ji's name. We are also super thrilled to welcome the 7th generation Sarod virtuosos from Khan Saab's lineage, Senia Bangash School, the flag bearer of the Sarod Vadan, the one and only Amaan Ali Khan and Ayaan Ali Khan to this program. All our viewers are going to have a rare opportunity today for an interactive session with Amaan and Ayaan Bhai. They will also be discussing their experience in learning their music during their childhood from their father, Guru, Ustad Amjad Ali Khan Sahab. And we will all learn and get inspired to know how they got inspired from the legend. It's going to be exciting. This program is being broadcasted live worldwide via Zoom, Facebook, and Radio Zindagi. I would like to thank our partner Radio Zindagi for this as well. I request all the viewers to please post your comments, questions for Ayaan and Amaan Bhai during the program in those sections in Zoom as well as Facebook, and we'll try to ask them all. This program has been brought to you today by Each One Education One Foundation, in short, E1E1. The E1E1 is a foundation whose vision is to create a world where every child has access to free, high quality, and value-based education. We will share more about E1E1 as we travel through this wonderful musical journey, led by Ustad Amjad Ali Khan Sahab. Khan Sahab was only 6 years old when he gave his first solo recital. Taught by his father and guru, the great Ustad Hafiz Ali Khan Sahab of Gwalior, he is recipient of UNESCO Award, UNICEF's National Ambassadorship, honorary doctors from several universities, and the prestigious Padma Vibhushan, to name a few. And trust me, if I start talking about his achievements and awards, we'll probably, the entire hour would go on that. Now, continuing the family traditions, both Amaan and Ayaan Bhai were initiated to Sarod at a very early age by Khan Sahab himself, and have been performing Sarod program along with Khan Sahab since late 80s. Apart from several solo and duet albums, including the in-day concert in New York in 2018, and also during the prestigious Nobel Peace Prize 2015 event in Oslo, they have been accorded with many awards. And the brothers wrote a book about their father, Abba, God's greatest gift to us. Isn't that wonderful? Can't wait anymore to hear the melodious Sarod. Over to Amaan and Ayaan Bhai.
Namaskar, it's a pleasure and an honor to be presenting our music for India's Independence Day. Along with my brother Ayaan Bhai and I, we have presented 3 pieces in our Indian classical tradition, form of ragas, which is Rag Tilak Kamod, Miya Ki Malhar, and Bhairavi. So I hope you all enjoy it. It's also a great honor for us to be associated with Each One Educate One, a brilliant initiative which is bringing holistic education to children, especially in rural areas. So we are so blessed and fortunate that through our music we are able to be associated with this wonderful organization.
Today, world over, millions of children are born into circumstances where they are caught in a perpetual cycle of poverty generation after generation, without a chance to come out of the vicious cycle. Notwithstanding the depravity of these little children caught in this situation for no fault of theirs, nations are losing out on the valuable human capital which could have been invaluable in nation building and promoting a harmonious society. While governments, private enterprise and not-for-profits world over are making concerted efforts to alleviate the situation, there has been a wide consensus that good education has the potential to bring individuals, families and communities out of the cycle of poverty and set them on a path to self-improvement and sustained growth. From a state of hopelessness to hope and aspiration. Each One, Educate One is a social impact initiative that is investing in transforming thousands of lives by giving them access to quality education and a wholesome environment to grow in. A unique intervention model which promotes values-based holistic education through an innovative paid-forward model. A model where everyone who has had the advantage of a good education in one's life passes on this advantage to the next generation. Started by beneficiaries themselves of a holistic and values-based model of education, Each One Educate One today has taken the form of a people's movement and an example of society stepping forward to play a key role as a stakeholder in educating its future citizenry, its next generation of leaders and nation builders. Education provided absolutely free of cost. 2022 goal, 15,000 beneficiary children, 35 partner schools.
Wow, what a rendition. Thanks so much, Amaan Ali Khan Bangash and Ayaan Ali Khan Bangash. What a wonderful rendition of Mia Ki Malhar. You know, to all our viewers, a little trivia on this. Mia Ki Malhar was creation of Sangeet Samrat Tansen, and also Ustad Amjad Ali Khan Saab's father, the great Ustad Hafiz Ali Khan Saab, received training from his descendants of Tansen. Isn't that wonderful? Next, now they will present Tilak Kamod. That was so wonderful. So beautifully played by Ayan and Aman Bhai. Tilak Kamod is so melodious and very close to Rag Desh, but yet different. Let us now move on to the final Rag, Bhairavi. Wow, that was absolute fantastic. Thank you so much, Aman Bhai and Ayan Bhai, for such a melodious performance. This has been my personal favorite. I love Rag Bhairavi, and during this Independence Day, we all remember the Rag Bhairavi naturally flows with Mile Sur Mera Tumhara. Who can forget that? Thank you so much for that fantastic performance, and please stay here, and we would very shortly be talking to you, Aman Bhai, Ayan Bhai, in an interactive session.
Ji.
So with that, I would like to welcome back many of the viewers across the world watching this program via Facebook, Zoom, Radio Zindagi, and special thanks to our partners, Radio Zindagi. Also, I would request viewers to keep posting your questions and comments as very soon we will have interactive session with Amaan Ali Bangash and Ayaan Ali Bangash. And before that, I would like to inform you that this event has been brought to you by Even Even Foundation. And to know more about Even Even Foundation, we have the two leads from Even Even Foundation who have done spectacular work for this initiative. And before I call them in the camera, I would quickly like to share a brief introduction of both of them. So they are Jayadev Chandrasekhar. Jayadev is software architect from Silicon Valley with over a decade of experience in renowned companies like Yahoo and currently Netflix. He holds master's degree from Indian Institute of Science and Sri Sathya Sai University. And you've been doing some wonderful work for E1 as well. And I would also invite Praveen Kumar. He's a solution architect in Silicon Valley, and with more than a decade of experience architecting and building embedded security systems at Intel and McAfee. He's leads such a great cause in E1. He holds a dual master's degree in mathematics and computer science from Sri Sathya Sai University as well. So now over to Jaydev.
Greetings to all of you. I think I'm audible to everybody. It's a what a blissful music it has been. I mean, I can't even talk after listening to that three ragas. I consider myself to be very lucky to be here on this beautiful day of Independence Day, and even more privileged to actually have the opportunity to talk about this each one educate one cause, something which is very close to my heart. The each one educate one, the way it started is some of us, when we looked at our life, and many of us in the presentation today can think about themselves. One of the greatest gifts that I have received in my life is education. It's literally like giving wings to a child, that the child can fly wherever they want. It's like opening doors to to a world that they have not seen. And that is the power of education. And receiving such a valuable gift, we were thinking, what can we do? We owe it to society at least to provide the same gift to few more children, one more, and pass our gift. And that is how the Each One Educate One Foundation was created. Now, to understand the importance of education and the need of education, how important it is for India and how important this mission is for the nation building, let us see some numbers in India. The next slide. Even after 73 years of independence, we really still have millions of people who are illiterate, around 300 million people. And think about lighting the fire of education among these population. Don't mistake them. Among them hidden are people like Abdul Kalam, leaders like Vivekananda. And once they are lit with the gift of education, think about the change that they can bring into the world. Think about the millions of girls who don't have the opportunity for education now. And once they are provided education, to think of societal transformation they can bring. And this, I'm not saying out of a theory. This after last 4 or 5 years of our Each One Educate One mission, we have seen firsthand the impact that these children can create. And that is what really inspired me to this mission. That what inspires me every day for the mission. And I think something which you all should know about and participate. The next slide. This thinking about this brought us to this noble mission of, can we actually dream of a world where every child can have access to free, but it's not enough, it's free, quality education. And it's to be value-based, because when you empower a child, it's important that child has right values. And that is how he or she can contribute to the society. And that is a dream that we had. And we were thinking, is that possible? We started with few of us, like-minded people, each of us adding one more child to our family. I have 2 children myself. And we said, you know, what if we can help one more child, expand our family a little bit, one more girl child, one more boy who does not have access to that education. And let us see what happens. And it is amazing to see how even that simple step can scale. And that is what you should all remember in this beautiful Independence Day, and how that simple step can add on to our nation building. Now, when we started this, in the next slide, we'll see what we initially thought. This is the idea. I think Yeah, I think people are saying there's a slight echo. I hope it'll be fine now. Right. So, yeah, cool. So, and I think there was a slight echo. But now, coming back to this topic. So, as I said, we thought if one of us can teach one more child, and if that passes on, it can spread like, wildfire. And we already saw how it has increased and touched millions of people. But what I missed and what really hit me hard is when I saw what happened after the first few batches of children passed out. Normally we say that only a blind man or a blind woman understand the value of eyesight. It was something like that. These children who did not have a hope for education, and when these institutes were started in their rural villages, and when they received it, they did not take it as yet another opportunity that they got. They took it with both arms. They realized now is time for them to dream, to open the doors to unknown that they never could. And many of them came back to us and said, how can we help? We want to pass on this to more people. One of the most heartwarming sight where many of these children came back and became the teachers for these institutes. And that is what gave us the great hope that this can spread. These children are the real torchbearers. Normally in Silicon Valley, that where we work, we say in an investment, we look at the virality, how much it can grow. And if you think about it, this small investment is the greatest investment I can make because there is so much I can do. But by empowering that child, I know he or she is going to move mountains. And that is how this mission is going to go forward. You can move to the next slide. I hope my voice is clearer now. Right. So now this recent news, something which really, touched me. And in fact, I just couldn't speak. Just last weekend, this news came out that when we started this institute, we were starting with a great intention. We wanted to have a quality education, but I never expected personally, to be frank, that this would happen. Think about it. This is from Mandya campus, one of our schools in a remote village away from Bangalore. I went there, I visited there, in a no man's land, in a rural area, this majestic school stands, and a lot of villagers, children who couldn't afford education joined there. And fast forward 5-6 years, last week, this child, Dheeraj Reddy, think about it for a minute. A child in a residential school, and I have children myself, and you would know how much we push our children to study. And this child, there are no parents around, he's in residential school, sitting there with all the activities, and he decides, you know what, I got this gift of education. I'm going to take this to the full potential. And he studies and gets 100% mark, 625 out of 625, being the state topper. And his dream is to become an IAS officer and serve the country. And that is the fulfillment of this mission. And that is why I said, each of this child, don't underestimate them. That hidden talent there, once awakened, they are going to carry this nation building. Now, moving on, the way this spread, this is another thing which we never imagined. We started with in a village in Karnataka, and soon, normally people say, once you have a pure and selfless mission, right, it gathers momentum automatically. The nature conspires to support it. Soon villagers came to know about it. Other people came around and said, you know what, how can we help? We also need similar school. And it started spreading so fast. In last 5 years, we have 24 schools in 18 districts. In fact, we have a school coming in Madurai now, a girls' school. So it's spreading so fast, and all by just each of us adding one more child to our families. And that's how it can really spread. And then you should look at some of the institute itself. The next slide, please. One thing you should remember, and this is something which I personally have learned during my own experience, is that I also had free education. Free education should not mean cheaper. It should be at high quality. We are not interested in creating another chain of schools. We really want to provide, even quality is much more important. Even if there are only few campuses, it should be model campus. It should be at the level that at a top class educational system that these kids get. We want to really develop gems, kids like Dheeraj from that. With modern facilities like computer labs, I would request many of you to just visit this campus. Some of my friends who visited this campus became volunteers for it, just by seeing the campus and the children there. The next slide kind of shows a little bit more about our campuses itself. We were very particular that when we build these campuses, we don't want quantity, we want quality. We want it to be beautiful campuses where the children feel like this is an edifice of education. The Mandya campus where Dheeraj came from is in the last row. You should look at some of these campuses and visit them for yourself. You don't feel like it is a free education. We feel like it's a world-class education supported by people. And then the next slide shows you some of the programs that go on. Again, remember, these institutes are typically in remote areas in villages where self-reliance and simple living is very important. So the children become part of it. It's a residential system. They learn about environmental awareness. I visited some of these campuses where you should see the vegetable gardens they create, planting trees. They are already equipped with all those skills from the very beginning, just because of the place the school is. Even Dheeraj said in the recent interview that the village atmosphere kind of helped him to study. Similarly, the next screen. The next slide. The other aspect, while the slide comes, the other aspect we also realized early on in this education system was that the holistic education is extremely critical, because education is not just sciences and math alone. Many of these children who come from this kind of environment, they come with a lot of skills. There are a lot of musicians, sports people, there are a lot of energy. So we have to provide an environment where they can have holistic education. And then that is what is really going to make an impact. And another aspect, which I would quickly point to before wrapping up, is when we started this initially, we did not realize the impact this education can create on girl children. So we had few girls campuses, but soon, initially, when we had difficulty getting girls into the campus, but after a few years, there are parents coming and requesting us to take their girls into the campus, seeing those people who passed out. And we slowly realized that is making a huge societal impact. In fact, because of that, in 2020, we realized we have to make it a year of girls' school. And we have 5 girls' schools currently. Currently in construction, and one of them is in Madurai, in a tribal belt in the valley near Kodaikanal, where girls typically don't have access to education. And the societal participation element of how that can impact is something that we are already seeing. Let us hear firsthand from a parent of this girls' school and the director of one of our girls' campus of their experience. You can play the small clip.
Varsha Naikodi is a good, humble, soft-spoken girl and good at studies. A first-generation literate in her family, she lost her father when she was very young, and her mother ties garlands and makes rotis or Indian bread to make ends meet. The mother has learned to be a strong woman, overcoming her weakness of not being educated, but thanking God that at least her daughter will see a bright future.
ನಾವು ಏನು ಸಾಲಿ ಓದಿಲ್ರಿ, ಓದಷ್ಟನ್ನು ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದಿಲ್ರಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಡತನ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಒಳಗ್ರಿ. ಅವರು ಓದ್ಲಿ, ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಪಂಚ ಹೆಂಗದಂತ ನೋಡ್ಲಿ, ತಿಳ್ಕೊಲಿ, ಏನು ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗಲಿ. ನಾವಂತ್ರಿ ಈ ಥರ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನ ಈ ಥರ ಆಗ್ಯದ, ಅವ್ರ ಜೀವನ ಆಗೋದು ಬೇಡ, ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಥರ ಜೀವನ ಮಾಡಲಿ, ಕಲೀಲಿ. ಸೊ ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳು ಏನು ಇದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಸಾಧನೆ ಮಾಡಲಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದಗೋಸ್ಕರ ರೀ ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಇದು ಪಟ್ಟು ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿನ್ರಿ, ಕಳ್ಸೀನಿ. ಅವ್ರ ಪಪ್ಪರ ಆಸೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇತ್ರಿ ಪಪ್ಪಾರಿಗೆ. ಮಗಳ ಮನುಷ್ಯನಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಪಪ್ಪ ಹೇಳೇನ ಅಂದ್ಮ್ಯಾಗ ನಾನು ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರೇ ಆಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಒಂದು ಭಾವನೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಾಡ್ರಿ. ಆದರೆ ಮನ್ಸು ಏನು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಇದಾಗಲಿ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ ಕಲಿತು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಾಗ ಏನು ತಪ್ಪು ಏನು ಸರಿ ಏನು ಒಳ್ಳೇದು ಕೆಟ್ಟದ್ದು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನನ್ನ ಜೀವನ ಆಕಿ ಮುಂದೆ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಲಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ರೀ. ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಸಣ್ಣಕ್ಕೆ ಒಬ್ಬಾಕಿ ಮಗಳಾಡ್ರಿ, ಆಕಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಆಕಿನೇ ಮುಂದೆ ದಾರಿ ಆಗ್ತಾಳಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡೇನ್ರಿ.
The idea of girls' education never existed in the communities from where these girls come from. In fact, we had to plead many parents to get their girls admitted in our colleges. With batches of girls completing their education and going back to their communities, today the perception of education has completely changed. Today, increasingly, parents are coming to put their daughters in our schools and colleges.
When you empower girls through holistic education, an entire nation gets empowered. The world is transformed. Nelson Mandela said, "Education is the best weapon one can use to change the world." Join us in this movement to foster girl children. Let us be the wind beneath their wings, because when they fly high, we fly high too.
It's such a touching sight to see, and you should visit some of these girls' campus to see for yourself. And this Independence Day, as an Independence Day, we feel that we should have this noble goal. Can we start such a model school in every district in India, each of the 600 districts? I think Praveen is here. He's a very successful software engineer in Bay Area. He worked in Intel. Currently, he's a solution architect in McAfee. He travels around the world, and his story has always been very inspiring. He's a recipient of such an education, and how that such a free education has changed his life and became what he is. Let us hear directly from him. Praveen.
Hi, can everyone hear me? I hope.
Yes.
Hey, thanks, Jaydev, for that introduction, and it was a beautiful performance. At the outset, thanks everyone for this opportunity. Thanks for this opportunity to share my experiences and be a part of this wonderful program. I'm genuinely humbled. Each one educate one. Also, in short, E1 is a very honest, genuine initiative that promotes and supports value-based free education. I am one of the thousands of beneficiaries of a value-based free education system. I spent 7 years of my life in an institute that believes in value-based education. An institute that believes that human values are equally important, if not more important, than test scores. I was a young adult of maybe 16 and a half or 17 years old when I joined the institute. I was just beginning to form my own thoughts, form my own opinions, something that would stick with me for a lifetime. And I can tell you that this institute shaped those thoughts and thus shaped me for a lifetime. One of the most important lessons that I learned, or the values that I try to incorporate in my daily life, is it's okay to be imperfect. It's okay to be human with all its imperfections. Just be a better human. When we strive to become good, the purpose or the intention of being good is not to make us into a saint. In fact, let us all retain all our imperfections of being us, but be a better version of ourselves on a daily basis. That's what I learned, and that's what I strive for on a daily basis. I am what I am today because of two things. Human values, I was taught during my college, and free education. I would not have joined the college if it was not free. I joined because my father had a lot of financial issues. In fact, this is not something I've told to too many folks, not even my friends. But I would not have, if I had not got the free education due to my dad's financial constraints, I might have taken a low-wage labor job somewhere, and for all you know, I might have remained a low-wage labor for a long time. I might have quit school, and I would not be where I am today. If you think about it, there is someone out in the world, a complete stranger outside of my own family, who sponsored my education. A benevolent stranger. That benevolent stranger sponsored not just my bachelor's degrees. I got an opportunity to do my master's. I did my master's again. So think about that for a second. But for this institute and the benevolent stranger who sponsored my education, I would not be where I am today. I could not have boasted of double masters that I have today, but for that one benevolent stranger who believed in free education. I want to conclude by saying I'm striving to be a benevolent stranger in some kid's life right now. I pray that 20 years from now, someone will be able to stand in a similar gathering like this one and thank that one benevolent stranger who sponsored his or her life. I wish to be that benevolent stranger. In fact, I invite all of you to join me to become that benevolent stranger to that one deserving kid today.
Wow, what a touching presentation and wonderful initiative. Thank you so much for sharing, Praveen, and also Jaydev for this wonderful, touching presentation. I just want to remind all our viewers, we'll shortly be having Ustad Amjad Ali Khan Saab's performance. But before we go there, now we move to the much awaited interactive session with Amaan and Ayaan Bhai. Welcome back to the program.
Namaskar.
Namaskar, pleasure to be here.
Wonderful. First of all, it was such an awesome, wonderful program, and we are already flooded with so many comments, both in Facebook and Zoom, in terms of how wonderful the program was. What a great start for the day for people in India and other Asian countries. So, Amaan Bhai, Ayaan Bhai, I would like to know. I would like to take you back to the childhood days. At what age you started learning music, and were you interested in learning as a child, or did you go through struggle? Could you please share?
I think when you're born into a family of musicians, and especially a musician of like my father, Ustad Amjad Ali Khan, it's like basically being born right in the middle of the ocean. You have to swim. There's no other choice. But initially, he introduced my mother and my father, both of them together, introduced the whole music scenario to Ayaan Bhai in a very friendly and in a very like a hobby sort of a situation. It was never forced upon us. It was just like a games period we used to have for 1 hour. We would play cricket or football. Same way we would have 1 hour session of music in a day. So he let it grow very organically. So there was no, you have to do it. There was nothing of that sort. And yes, I think it's the best gift my mother and father could ever have given Ayaan and me, is music, because through music I connect to my father, to my grandfather, and to all the other great maestros of Indian classical music.
So did you guys feel anything, kind of forced, or because you're born into that family, there's an expectation said that you're going to pick up the Sarod, or something of that sort?
No, I think to start with, namaste to everyone. It's a great honor to be here, and happy Independence Day to everyone. It's a great pleasure to be associated with each one, educate one. So I think Amaan bhai kind of covered what you answered, but yes, I mean, there was no pressure as such, but I think it was a little understood because music is the greatest wealth we have in our family. And I think it was not something one was doing outside the box. It was as normal for my parents to pass it on to us. It was like doing anything else every day, like eating or sleeping. Music was just a part of life. So that's pretty much what it was. And before we knew it, we were already playing. So, but again, an artist's journey, it's never ending. You're learning every day. And, there's no end to excellence and achieving perfection in your craft.
How was it learning from the legend compared to today's world, where a lot of our the young children and aspirants, they have venues in terms of learning from the internet, learning from for distantly, and is the technique or the things changed, or what is your thoughts and views on that?
See, when we started learning, for us at that time, my father was just my father. He was a friend, he was a father. We never realized who he is. Today, as we grow older, you feel, now he's a legend, and what he has done to his contribution to the world of Indian classical music, not only to the Sarod, but so today we feel, wow, we are born to him. We must have done some good karmas or some nice past life things that we got this beautiful set of parents who are good friends to us today. They're very compassionate, very easygoing people. Regarding the other question, as you asked, sir, that about classical music being learned over online. It's a nice start. It's not a bad idea for a lot of people, but it's like a batsman. You have to physically teach him how to hold the bat and play the shots. In classical music cannot be only virtual. It has to be initially. It has to be very organic and more physical. With a guru or a teacher or whoever can help you. Once you've passed a certain standard or certain age or certain years of doing that, then maybe yes, for knowledge or for if you're far away from your teacher, to learn through virtual reality and all that stuff is fine. But initially, you have to be physically be present in your guru's domain physically. That's very important.
That's very nice. So the foundation building is under the guru's domain is important.
Initially to start with, yes, definitely.
Takeaway. And how do you cultivate the interest in children learning? Because initially they don't become, if somebody picks up a tabla, they are looking at Zakir Hussain Saab's tabla and saying that, okay, the day one I'm going to sound like that, but it takes a lot of practice and stuff. How do you coach? How do you teach? How do you get them that confidence?
I think the overall quality of children today who are playing an instrument or even singing, it's very refined, because I think there's just so much content available around them for them to benefit from the research of all the masters and everything. But like Amaan bhai said, there are 2-3 things. One is, if you're learning it just for the fun of learning it, that's one thing. If you're learning it, if you're really passionate about it and you want to make this into, this is what you want to do in life, then the journey really becomes very different. It's not about one season or 2 seasons. It's a lifelong, never-ending journey. But again, each to his own. Many people, once they achieve a little bit of brilliance, then they move on to whatever else they want to do. But if you want to go into the depth of music, then you have to just continue that journey. But
And
I mean, in terms of
sorry.
encouraging youngsters, I think they should learn from teachers around them, and there's just so much available around them at this point of time.
See, what I've been taught and what I've adapted is you can have one teacher, your one guru, जो आपको mark, who gives you margdarshan, as you call it. But you have to respect all the other gurus also. You cannot say my guru is the best and others are all not good. That is, my father has taught us one thing to start with, that never criticize anyone. Try to take the best out of everybody. Be a student. Keep picking up things. More than preaching, more than talking, start listening more. Like if I'm a sarod player, or if I'm a tabla player, or I'm a sitarist or a vocalist or anything, if I hold the sarod, I have to think of all the great masters of sarod. Or if I hold the tabla, I have to think of and pray to all the great masters of tabla. I can't just think of one person, which is nice. We all have role models and we should always follow them, definitely. But we also have to respect everybody. That's very important. It's like respecting all religions, respecting all the gurus or the saints. So it's just like respecting every human being. So it's as important. And try not criticize. My father always says that your biggest competitor is not somebody who's better than you in music, but somebody who's more humble than you and who's more down to earth, who's more grounded. He will survive the journey longer than you can because of the attitude.
Wonderful.
Back in 2009, we were asked to write a book by HarperCollins, mainly to encourage or rather introduce youngsters to Indian classical music through recordings. So in that, I mean, obviously, we couldn't accommodate a lot of people, but there were 50 masters we wrote on, where everyone from M.S. Subbulakshmi ji to Saman Guddi ji, D.K. Pattamal ji, Begum Akhtar, they were all part of that. And, we've written about the recording. What I'm trying to say is that we grew up listening to so many artists because our father encouraged us to hear everyone. And that's what made writing the book actually going back to our childhood.
That's wonderful. And Amaan bhai, there was wonderful insights that you mentioned, like how we should view. And especially, it's so apt that, we jump into criticism and judging in every aspect of life, and music and the teacher especially. So to take you back, like when we're talking about the riyaz, how easy or difficult it was for you all to, especially when you're in your younger days, to sit down and do the riyaz. How you motivated, or how Ustadji helped you, or your mother helped you to make you practice? That's some of the challenges that I see. Parent here, they have aspiration. Their children want to learn, but they also want to inculcate that how they can practice.
See, to be very honest, sir, the thing is that your parents can take you to the river or to the lake, but you've got to drink that water yourself. They can't really help you. I think what parents or teachers need to tell their students very, very critically and very honestly, that if you don't work hard, nothing's going to come easy. I mean, even being the eldest son of Ustad Amjad Ali Khan, as a lot of people think you're born with a golden spoon and things have been easy. It's not that easy. When you're born to the best, it becomes more difficult to it's the outmost. I'm very honored that I'm his son, but at the same time, the hard work just increases much more. I with all my humility, I do say this, that whatever little my brother and I have achieved is obviously, if we were not Abbas Saab's son, it would have taken us another 30, 40 years to reach this at this age. But having said that, there are no shortcuts to success, or to let's say being refined, or being being very good. We're still learning, we're still working very hard. But even today, my brother and I, in our own ways, have to practice about 2-3 hours a day, if not more. So you have to sweat it out. There's no shortcut. And I feel you just have to be very humble and patient and not give up. in Hindi they say himmat nahi harna hai.
Bilkul.
Don't give up, because you might just be there at the tip and you think there's nothing's working out, but maybe it's going to just work out tomorrow. So that hope you have to live with that hope that tomorrow everything is going to be fine. I will achieve and you have to believe that you'll achieve it. And I'm going to tell everyone I can't say this to people who are elder to me, but people who are much younger to me, that whatever you do, try to be the best in it, or just don't do it. Because I don't respect mediocrity. I've always believed that whatever you want to do, you should try and be the best at it, or you're just wasting your time.
Absolutely. So that's so wonderfully put. So you, I think, alluded a little bit on that when growing up, as how you dealt with father versus guru, or that too a legend guru. What kind of things, like the regular the son father relationship versus when it becomes a guru and a student kind of relationship. Was it easy transition? Was it even a transition? Is it like how do you deal with that?
Well, I think the conditioning and the environment at home for any child is very, very important. So that's why we're very lucky that our mother, has and still is a major balancing factor in the family. And, she made sure that things were done at the right time, because my father was teaching. Yes, he was teaching a lot of students. There were a lot of students coming at home. There was music constantly happening at home. But in order to make sure the education happens the right way, yet to put us in a routine of practicing every day, all these things put together, I think it's a very big role of the environment you get at home. I mean, my mother, being an artist herself, I think realized that aspect, realized that element, because many times, as kids, one would use music as an excuse to escape from many things. But then I think she was very clear that, one has to at least deliver to a certain level, even through education, which is extremely important because it does build you in many other facets of life. But the musical journey is very different. And the journey of practice, it's a personal journey, and no one can help you practice because only you yourself know what you expect from yourself. So that is a personal journey, and your guru can only guide you to it. But beyond that, you have to pick up the spoon and put food in your mouth on your own.
Absolutely. I just want to take a second to respond to questions and comments from our viewers as we go through. So there is in Facebook as well as in Zoom. There is Sneha from Singapore, the Gopalans, Swarna, Geeta, Ravi Mahajan, Tina Sharma, Sally Kimball, Lantu Gua, Tina. So all these people, their comment is like beautiful, useful music, wonderful, divine.
Thank you.
Melodies.
I just want to say hi to them and thank you them. Thank you.
And we also have Sally's question from Zoom. She wants to know how many years they have been performing professionally. And I think you already addressed how many times you practice. That was a question from Nikhil from Zoom. And so that's one question. How many years we've been performing? And then I'll also add one other question from Mehran. That is, how long does it take for you to play duet and sync up together in perfect harmony?
The first question is, I think it's been more than 3 decades that we've been performing since we were very young. So it's to even today when we go on stage, it's like going to give your first concert. You never take your audience for granted. You never take yourself for granted. So even today, before I go on stage, I'm nervous in a good way. Not that I'm not confident, but it's just that I'm very submissive to God at that point of time, that I hope people accept my music. Because, I truly believe there's nothing known as good or bad. Either you appeal to people or you don't appeal to people. No one's good and no one's bad. Either you connect or you don't connect. So I always pray to the Almighty, or to, to Swami, to God, to everybody, that my music should get accepted. I should get accepted, or as in my brother or my father, we all should get accepted. So yeah, it's like that basically. Sorry, I didn't get the second question.
I think the second question was, how long does it take to play a duet and synchronize and in harmony with both you together?
I think Ayaan bhai should answer that question.
No, I think it's simple. It's very important to know the individual with whom you are performing or collaborating in any kind of a space. Because end of the day, our nature, I think, reflects onto our music. Our music is literally who we are as people. So that's why I think being brothers and the fact that we learned from the same guru, I think that obviously helps, but beyond a point, it's a lot of telepathy that happens. Beyond a point, it's also a lot of collective vision that comes into play, because end of the day, you want to put together a bouquet of flowers that looks good collectively. It's not about shining out individually. I mean, we do have our individual performances also that happen, but when we are playing together, the idea is to collectively make a beautiful painting together, and that is what the intention is.
And I also feel that, playing solo is very easy. It's not a big deal, because it's just about you and your space, and you're very comfortable in your zone, because there's no, in a good way, there's no creative interference, as we call it, or other creative inputs, because you are the creator. You are creator not in terms of, I feel God is producing the music. I'm saying on stage, physically, you're the creator at that point of time. So, your thoughts are not mixing up with anyone else. But when you play, when I accompany my father in a trio setup, or when I share my on-stage time with my brother, I think it's more challenging, because when you play a duet or there are more musicians involved, it's not about trying to prove who you are. You are trying to create beautiful moments so that the other person can also flourish more. So it's a very giving relationship when you come to playing a duet. It's much difficult, because whatever, let's say Ayaan bhai has played some style of playing. Now I don't need to do the same thing. I need to find a different way out. So it's all the time you're trying to complement each other. So it's challenging, and I don't think a lot of people. There have been a lot of good duets in the past, and disasters also.
It's very nice. So there is one question we were talking about, learning from, especially for the parents of these age, how in the rat race, when the kids are in so many activities, and Ayaan bhai, you have some personal experience with your sons who are there in that age, where I believe they're naturally learning from you.
We, in the sense that I think due to the lockdown, they've really progressed, and they're learning, and they have a long way to go, but they need blessings, but they're working hard. Yes.
That's wonderful. I see the pictures and some of these things that you post. That's wonderful. So is it what are the things that you have imbibed that you kind of transfer that to the next generation in your case, and to the way that you have been taught, the way you have been given the freedom of maybe understanding or developing the interest and things like that? How do you do that?
No, I think like we mentioned, I think the conditioning and the environment at home is very important. I think these kids are very blessed that they constantly have my father singing to them, or when my brother meets them, that's a different equation. When he's talking music to them as well. And then when they're home, then obviously I'm teaching them, and they're constantly watching concerts, not just our concerts, but a whole lot of musical performances. So all these things really help a lot to groom the interest of any child. So I think it's not something that you can force upon a child beyond a point. Mm-hmm. So that's why the environment at home is very important, and also what the parents introduce the children to. Right. It could be anything, and then then obviously when time comes, I think they take a call on what they like or don't like.
Absolutely, and it's reflective. So I've seen many of the interviews and videos where all three of you are there. As you said, like it's to make that the moment as a fun, whether it's a concert or a process. I even saw when Ustadji has put you guys, on the spot, humming something and doing the swaram for that. So those kind of it kind of tends to an educative, fun environment that says quite a bit about that. So that's wonderful. I'm sure I won't be asking that part at this point in time, but it's been great interacting with you. The time flew, and we still have many questions, but unfortunately our time has come to an end for this interaction. One, I just would like you, if you have anything that you want to share with our viewers, Amaan bhai, Ayaan bhai.
I think I just want to thank everyone for just hearing us. And somewhere I read that I think Swami is watching, so pranams in his lotus feet to Swami. And just my now become a bit conscious. I don't know what to say because anyway. But I just feel to all the youngsters, I like to say this, that just be humble, just be nice to people. Keep your pride high, but your head low. In terms of don't never be arrogant about anything, because I feel arrogance is not a good thing to have. Just work hard, leave everything to God, and just believe in your parents. Path they also show you, and just keep walking, and just respect everyone around you. And just don't be arrogant about anything, because I've seen greatest of people falling down in life because that arrogance somewhere comes in out of insecurity or I don't know what. So just be calm and just enjoy life. That's all. It's beautiful.
And I'll just once again want to just say that it's truly an honor for us to even be associated with Each One, Educate One. I think what the kind of work which is happening, which we saw in the slide a while ago, I mean, obviously we were aware of what's happening, but I hope more and more awareness is created for this cause, and it will make a difference to each and every child with the kind of wonderful work this organization is doing. And we are always there in our own humble way to be a part of this organization.
That is so wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you so much.
Namaskar. Thank you.
Namaskar. Thank you.
So finally, the wait is over, and without further delay, it gives me a great privilege and honor to present you all none other than Padma Vibhushan Ustad Amjad Ali Khan Saab.
On the occasion of India's Independence Day, I would like to present these two devotional songs, great favorite of Mahatma Gandhi, father of nation. On several occasions, I have, along with Amaan and Ayaan, we have played this Vaishnav Janato and Ramdhun also. Both the compositions are based on different ragas. Vaishnav Janato is based on Khamaj, and Ramdhun is based on Mishrikara. So the message is very important, and I really enjoy playing these songs, and it's a humble tribute to Mahatma Gandhi.
Wow, that was spectacular. So much divine. I didn't feel like that should ever stop. That concludes our program for today. We are deeply indebted, and thanks to Ustad Amjad Ali Khan Sahab. I would like to thank Amaan Ali Bangash and Ayaan Ali Bangash for their precious time and for performing for us, for Even, and also their fantastic interaction session that we had. I would like to thank all our viewers for joining in via Zoom, Facebook, and Radio Zindagi, and staying through the program. And for any information regarding Even, please visit www.even.foundation. Last but not least, we would like to thank all our dedicated volunteers who have made this program possible. Thank you so much. You all have a happy Independence Day and stay safe. Namaste.